And it was a 6'9" promoted heavyweight by top ranked promoted heavyweight who was the talk of the sports world. And then this weekend it's going to be the same thing with pro debuting Antonio Mireles. Is set to make his pro debut this Friday night in San Diego. How you doing, Antonio?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. Well, thank you for joining us. So you're
Yeah,
making
thank you for having me.
making a long awaited pro debut. Excited for it?
Yes, very, very. Been a long time coming.
Uh, Taking on Delmonte Randle. What can you tell us about him?
Uh, Not much. I don't really know anything about him, to be honest. So,
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're 6'9", and tell us a little bit about like how you got into boxing and your amateur career, which was a successful one. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
yeah. Let's see. I got into boxing. Well, first time I ever entered a boxing gym is when I was 8. But unfortunately, that gym closed down after like a month or two. So, and I instantly fell in love with it the second I stepped into a boxing ring. And yeah, like I said, it closed down only after like a month or two. But then a few years later, I remember my mom told me she saw in the newspaper about this new boxing club that opened up in our town. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa, by the way. Just,
Hmm.
and it was through the Des Moines PAL Police Athletic League, and it was free, brand new, all free to join, all that. It was basically the whole thing behind it was just a way for kids to get into something productive and get them off the streets, and something, they can keep them out of trouble. So, and that was when I was around 11 or 12, and that was the gym I stayed at throughout my entire amateur career up until a few months ago when I came out here.
And then that's the Robert Garcia boxing gym, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, I'm out here in Riverside right now at the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy.
You mentioned you started 8, 11, 12. Were you always the tallest kid out of everyone there?
Yeah, yeah. I've always people always ask me like, oh, when was when did you really get big, or when were you uh, have your growth spurt? And I always just kind of chuckle and I tell them, since birth, I've always just been. I remember because I did some other sports growing up, and when I played little league football in the division or whatever I played in, they didn't go by age; they went by size and weight.
Yes.
So I was 8 years old playing with 12 and 13-year
Ooh.
olds. So yeah,
You mentioned football. Were you ever, and did you? I would imagine you play basketball at all growing up.
nope, never.
Wow.
I know that always shocks a lot of people, but I tried a few other sports, but never once even thought of basketball.
I'd figure going through high school, the coaches were probably begging you to come out to the team. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, I certainly pissed off my fair share of coaches throughout my school career.
Yeah, I remember that when I was in high school. Even if the kid couldn't play because he was 6'5", 6'6", the basketball coaches wanted that kid to play. So I
Yeah,
mean, it was you had a successful amateur career. You won the national you won the Olympic trials, if I'm not mistaken. And people talk about the politics of professional boxing. The politics of amateur boxing is that has a lot to be desired. And another guy went, I believe it was Richard Torres, and
yeah.
some reason they picked him to go. And we could spend here all day, talking about the politics of that. But that's behind us, and you're starting your pro career this Friday night. How excited are you for this?
Oh, I'm extremely excited. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm ready just to step into this whole new world of just professional boxing and make a name for myself.
Tell us a little bit about your style. We've seen some, fighters, some taller fighters become more boxers, some become more punchers. In fact, obviously the comparisons of Tyson Fury, which I'm sure you're probably sick of right now because of
Yeah,
your height. What would you say? Would you say you're more boxer, more puncher, a little bit of both?
I definitely say I'm a little bit of both. I think I would say boxing suits me best. That's usually where I have just the best showing and I look the best in
Mhm.
my fights. But I'm also I'm not afraid to just get in there, and just trade some leather every once in a while.
I know in the press releases, the El Gigante nickname. I know your manager Dave McWhorter likes to use the Lincoln Giant. You talking,
Yeah,
you're the gentle giant. I think you very pleasant
yeah.
guy. But that changes when you get through those ropes, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta have that little switch.
So I mean, what's the plan? I mean, if everything goes well, you could keep active, maybe every couple months to start. Kind of get your feet wet. Is that the plan?
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to be uh more active. Especially starting out. Not rushing anything. Crazy. Just take my time. Build up my name for myself and just build up my resume. But I definitely would like to once every 3 months stay in there and stay busy.
Coming up in Iowa, what's the boxing climate there in terms of the amateurs? I know there's some they sprinkle in some pro shows from time to time there. What's the climate there in Iowa in terms of boxing?
Uh,
Uh,
almost like a drought. That's the best climate you can compare it to. There's the boxing scene in Iowa is almost non-existent.
I guess it was good that you traveled to a lot of tournaments then.
Yeah, actually, the last year of my amateur career was the most fights I had in one year. Was 13. Before that, I only had like I still had less than 20, and it took me a good like 4, 5 years to get those fights. So yeah,
I know, like I said, the Tyson Fury stuff. But I would imagine maybe going forward, you'll probably be getting a lot of calls to go to some camps, being your size and everything. Has that happened? Has that been happening?
not as of yet. I've mainly just been because I've mainly just been out here getting acclimated to training with these guys at the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. Getting my feet wet, used to him being my trainer and working with these guys.
You mentioned Iowa's kind of like a drought. You go into that gym, and there's world champions to the left, you world champions to the right. You Mikey's in there. Robert's a former world champion.
Yeah,
What's that like coming from, like you said, a quote drought area boxing?
it was it was really cool, and it was kind of surreal at first just to be uh I like it because back home in my town and my gym, I'm kind of like I'm the top dog. We mainly just have a bunch of little kids with only one or two amateur fights, and so everyone kind of like looks up to me like I'm you know the cool guy and all that. But coming out here, being kind of like the new guy and being around all these other dudes who've been already made a name for themselves, it's a really cool, humbling experience, and I enjoy it very
You,
much.
you mentioned obviously you played football as a real young, so you're following the Hawkeyes, ranked number 3 in the country.
Yeah,
The,
yeah,
the,
we're doing
the,
all right.
so between number 3 Iowa and your manager Dave McWhorter, who's I don't know if he's talked to you about Oklahoma football. He's a diehard Oklahoma football fan. They're ranked number 4. But if Iowa plays Oklahoma in one of those bowl games, there could be a little going back and forth with you and Dave.
Yeah, it might
uh,
be.
well, we look forward to seeing you in action and following your career. Obviously, big time amateur, should have been in the Olympics, 6'9", Antonio Mireles. What do you want to tell the fans out there before they see you in the ring this Friday night in San Diego?
Just tune in. I'll be sure to put on a show, and thanks to everyone for all the love and support.
And where do we find you on social media?
My tag is Antonio Mireles 17. I don't have any Twitter. That's just my Instagram tag. And
Well, there you have it. I'll be sure to tag you in this video when we put it up on Instagram. Thank you for a few minutes of your time. And I say it's a lot of fighters, and I meet it, but I'm really excited to follow the progress of your career. And no pun intended, I think big things are ahead for you going forward. And it all starts this Friday night. Looking forward to seeing you, Antonio. Thank you for a few minutes of your time.
thank you. Yeah. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.